I have to thank Raquel, our new colleague, for this wonderful presentation. And let's start with our vision. So this is a dream, but we're going to make a reality. We're actually changing education with this vision. And in our vision, all the students reach 100% of success. In our vision, there are no dropouts. So in our vision, every single student in every single subject is capable of reaching 100% of acquiring 100% of the content, no matter what. It's a matter of time. Now, our mission is to develop the technology that would enable that would help the teachers reach that goal. And how do we do it? We store relevant data. We'll see what is relevant data. I'll explain that in a minute, of students. And subsequently, we develop activities to help teachers teach and students learn. What are these relevant data? Now imagine traditional, at school, we all have scores. We reach certain scores. Now imagine that we divide that into two. Things that we have achieved and things that we haven't achieved. This is relevant data. So with this information, we can do a lot of things. In the first place, what we can do is, of course, we can personalize the education and fill the gaps. This is very important because, as we've been explaining so far, no one pays attention to the gaps. So, but not only do we personalize education for the individuals, we can also extract and make conclusions for the whole group. Or even better, we can group students with similar needs easier and more effectively than the traditional way of, okay, one teacher, 25 kids, out of which we know for a fact that 3 are not going to make it through, are not going to finish school. They will abandon. How sad is that? How sad is that we have to accept that in a class of 25 kids, at least this is Spanish reality, 3 kids are never going to make it to finish school. So this is unacceptable to us. This is unacceptable. It's our mission to change that. Now here is what we're doing, and the products that we are developing have to deal clearly with the business models, with the teaching system, and with the students app. And in the business model, I would stress that you guys are not salespeople. You are teachers, and you have to act as such. With the tools that we provide, being teachers and experts, you have to be able to transmit, to communicate, and for that purpose, technology is helping you. How? Salesforce and CRM, tracking code for campaigns, you know that, you're more aware of that. Content of value for social media, and controlling of your business, of your figures. The teaching system, this app that is synchronized with the students app, that provides ready-to-use personalized lesson plans. And why is that? Why we want that? Because that represents for you 90% less workload. As simple as this. For the students, it represents faster progress by identifying gaps and filling them with what? With the acceleration game, with the content that you are all teaching. So these are the products that you all know. You are experts, and as such, you can grow. Everything here is personalized. If you are not aware of anything, put it in the chat. Really, any doubt, you just have to word it or voice it. We're going to reply. Then in the middle, or the second block, represents the tools that we have created for the educational system. And again, the ultimate purpose here is, in order to achieve our mission to finish with people falling behind, we need technology to identify what they know, what they don't know, to provide practices. And for you, every single activity will mean that you're filling a gap for the students. Along with that, and with the help with the help of the management team, business management team, we have a quality control. So this is something that is not so obvious for everyone, but it's absolutely important. Being able to detect problems and solve them in real time for students and teachers. Now, what are the business models? In the first place, taking care of acquiring students where they are. So we have to create models for that would work for you for video conference teaching in their premises at work, at home, in a bar or public place. Whatever the student need is, we have the service. Just remember that. You guys, every single one of you, by being at Oxinity, has the same capacity to provide a service than the big providers. This is so beautiful. Whether or not you are going to choose one model or not, that depends on you and on where you are. Yeah, location matters. But you have the capacity to compete with the big ones. And your students, you know, also have the capacity. We provide something very flexible. You have the tools to either direct them, if it's offline, to a public space. You can group people around their needs offline in coffee shops, public places, and this is offline, sorry, and online, again, very broad grouping and big grouping system that allows people to choose classes at their best availability. Now, for that purpose, there are two things that you have probably managed. The promo button, which is so important, and it personalizes every single link in IamOxinity, in your platform. And again, on the other side, everything in Oxinity that we're creating, every single page, every single tab, is a landing page. So you can use it for your growth. With your IDC and tracking code, you make it yours. Everything, once in Oxinity, everything in Oxinity belongs to you. Remember that. So what are the business models? We have to remember who we are. We're teachers, or you guys are teachers, and you know what your students need. How will you provide it? By content of value. So content is in your classes, in the app, but also there is so much extra content in the blog that you can provide. And why using it? Because you are communicating, you are helping, and that can become a tradition. A tradition, I mean, every week I'm going to get in touch with my students, current and former. We don't have to end the relationship with a student when they stop their classes. It can continue. So this is something that if you haven't thought about, I would really suggest that you think about. Now, the partners that grow the best are doing that, are communicating every week something of value, every single week. So you can communicate with all these channels. You can do it on Facebook. Facebook, when we talk about Facebook, remember the groups. There are groups around interests that if you're not using, you have to use, yeah? Because it's where your targets gather to find solutions. If your solution is there, fantastic. If your solution is not there, and it is all only in your wall, maybe it's not going to be enough. So the same is applicable to LinkedIn. And of course, more personalized solutions will be WhatsApp or your email. Those who are active on Twitter, of course, Twitter as well, Instagram, of course. Now, this is something, the Salesforce tab is something that I think is underused. And I really have to encourage you to start using it because this is gold. Now, this has two interfaces. showing you this picture here is showing everything in progress that has happened so far until the current day, whereas this screen shows the state of the day of today. Both of them are very important because whether you have clients or not depends on not only on the leads that you will get, of course, but also on the actions, on how much you act upon your leads. So do not underestimate these processes. I can never stress enough the importance of follow-up. Now, coming soon, and you will see it also in your IamOxinity platform. Right now, available just for people that are not teachers. So for academies and commercial agents more, but very soon in your IamOxinity as well is going to be this breakdown of your clients. So how much you generate with them, what's the cost, and what's the remainder, what's the margin for you. And you have to know that once you start, you can scale quickly. And well, not at first, there is more work, but then afterwards, the results are so obvious, so evident. Now, the educational system, you know better. Again, here, let me stress yet again that what we're doing here is not just yet another tool to make things beautiful. My point is, traditional classroom, modern classroom, we have Blackboard, and then we have all those digital boards. The digital board may be more beautiful, not necessarily more effective though, because okay, it does something, it may do more things, or a projector project things in color, that's more beautiful, not necessarily more effective. The problem that underlays is not going to be sorted out with beautiful things. Yeah, things have to be as beautiful as they can, but also with technological solutions that are going to go straight to the problem and solve it. So, well, our development, the architecture is complex, back-end, front-end, with all the problems that sometimes occur. Well, we're working on it constantly, very with very fast paces, and I hope you will see improvements very soon, even in the interface and in the usability. So what you know here is, again, an app for the student, an app for the teacher. Whenever you are asked by your students, what else can I do? You have to remember they can do a lot in the platform. So all the material is there, all the texts are there, all the videos are there, but also the game is there. And people love it. It's kind of addictive, but it's addictive and educational. And this is our non-human mate, which is called vendor technology. But of course, it provides service for you guys, for your students, so that everything with the connection is fine. And there is a team behind that. You are communicating with them whenever you have an issue. There are people attending your needs. So this is something that no Zoom, no Skype can have. Now, the value proposition for you regarding your teaching platform, and specifically the one that we designed with the product with activities, is to reduce your workload and, of course, increase your growth. To reduce workload is very important because there is something that we haven't been talking about, which is all this extra time that your colleagues have to do when they don't have all these tools at hand. They have to plan every single thing. Sometimes it's a lot of workload, a lot of burden, and not necessarily it impacts in better quality. On the contrary, without tools, quality is quite dubious. So you know how you can keep track of your classes here. I'm not so sure whether you know that you can also create a group for your students, create groups, insert students there, and then operate, change classes, cancel, recuperate. There are a lot of things that you can do. And if you're not so aware, then why don't you just give it a go and try? You know, so trial and error, and you will see that it's quite straightforward. Your student satisfaction is also here, and you can check. This is very good method of self-correcting, so I really encourage you to use that. And how to transmit experience and the activities that you're using are actually something that maybe you see them as, oh, right, this activity is good, this activity is bad. But if you think about it, here there is a lot of people telling you, hey, this is my experience, why don't we try? Maybe you can benefit from it. And the beauty of it is that it has this wiki approach where every single one of you can improve it and make it a little bit better. So you can rank the activities that have lower ranks go to improvement. And you know that system of how all of us are improving activities pretty much in real time all the time. So you know that, you know how to use the system. I'm not going to spend so much time here, but just to tell you, as suitable for online classes as for offline classes. And here is where you can keep track of your generated and indicate possible issues if you come across. Coming soon, the invoices, and we will group the concepts so that it's easier for you guys to understand. And finally, the student app, which again is probably something that is not so obvious for you, but it contains every single thing synchronized. Look at that. So we synchronize the game with what? With the classes, with all the content that people receive, and eventually this results into progress. So it's a continuous feedback that goes from the app to the classes and from the classes to the app. Here is how your students see the target language. They have access to the attachments as well, to the videos. That's why it's very important that our visual, like the videos are very well, are attached as videos, not as text attachments and so on. The progress in real time, right after every class, after they've played the game, they can check it. And the grid, this shared grid that allows people to select classes, not 24/7, but we're close to it, yeah? Operating with teachers in Mexico, we're teaching until 2 a.m. in the morning.